Hey, I'm Candace, your host, and if you're ready to grow your business and build your authority by getting booked on podcasts, I've got something special for you. I'm launching a brand new course that will walk you through exactly how to get booked on podcasts. Everything from identifying the right shows to pitching, preparing for interviews, and leveraging your guest appearances for growth. Plus, if you sign up for the waitlist now, you'll get early access to the course and these special bonuses. When you officially enroll in the course, you'll save $50 and get a free one-on-one strategy call with me to help you prep your speaking points and align your offers. These bonuses are limited and end on April 13th, so make sure to sign up today. Head to the link in the show notes to join and get started on your podcast guesting journey. I can't wait to help you get booked and start sharing your message with the world. Now let's dive into today's episode. Welcome back to the show. I have special guest Gabriella on. She is a social media strategist and community builder at Social Traction Studios. She helps creative entrepreneurs build engaged online communities and create iconic content that resonates. Make sure you check the show notes for her free personal brand blueprint that you can download. Let's dive in. Gabriella, thank you so much for being on and spending your time with us. How did you become an entrepreneur? Tell us about that journey.
So I actually started out as an art teacher. I did not make it very long. I was only in a public school setting, teaching on my own with my own classroom license and everything for a single year. My situation with my district was really not ideal. So about the last 2 months of teaching, I met with a career counselor and really just explored my options. We eventually kind of landed on graphic design marketing. I kind of talked to some different people, made some connections in the field, and really learned more about more specifics like, marketing isn't just marketing. There's email marketing, there's ads, there's social media marketing. There's really just a lot more to marketing than most people would just be like, oh, marketing's just marketing. It's not. Turns out. I really was interested in the social media marketing. It kind of scratched the itch of still wanting to be artistic, but also still connecting with people and getting to kind of teach in a sort of capacity. So I really just went down a never-ending rabbit hole. Once I started learning about it, I would learn another thing about it, and then I'd go and learn about that. It just has never ended.
Didn't know that you were a fellow former teacher, but following your social media, I can see the art teacher.
Once I tell people, they're usually like, yeah, that tracks. I'm like, yeah. It does.
Yeah, for sure. I love how you knew there was an alignment with the job and then you searched for the alignment. How do you know what nudges to follow?
Being open to change and, even though it is really scary to be still in your current job and, behind the scenes during your prep, during your lunch hour, or even, taking a sick day when you're actually meeting with your career counselor, whatever, interviewing, that is totally okay. And you were allowed to do that. But I think just kind of following your gut and knowing something's not a good fit and you need to make that transition, giving yourself the time to do that one, but then also just being open to exploring things and trying different things, because I looked at and explored a ton of different options before we even discovered social media marketing. I didn't know it even existed, honestly, before that at all.
Did you discover that when you were meeting with your coach, or did you try other things before you landed on that?
I didn't really dive in deep into anything else. We kind of discussed other options of, different paths of, going back to school potentially and doing this, that, and the other. And that's kind of how I got into starting my own business, is because with marketing, a lot of places, want you to have the degree in marketing. They want you to have the 2 to 3 years experience. And that just was something I didn't have on paper, but I knew that it was something I could obviously do and do well. So it kind of started out where I was like, okay, I'm interested in this. I want to do this. I go to this coffee shop a lot. Their social media is not good / non-existent. Let me chat with the owner and see if I can kind of take over their social media and see what I can do with it and see if it's something I even liked. Fortunately, she agreed to that. So I did take over that, dove right in, and really enjoyed it a lot. And not only that, I was really pretty good at it even from the get-go. So just being able to kind of dive right in and immerse myself in it and figuring out if I even liked it before committing to it fully was really great.
That's a great piece of advice to just see if you can dabble in it, see if you even
Mhm.
like it before diving off the deep end. I also love the initiative that you just took and saw a need and then asked. I think sometimes we get hung up on not asking because we're afraid of the answer, but really the worst that can happen is you get a no, right? What was that like? Was it like your first big leap? Was it outside your comfort zone?
So I also baristed there a bit, and I had been a barista before, and I love coffee. I make my own coffee at home a lot. So it was just something like an environment I was really familiar with. So I think that helped. But also, she just was very kind and flexible and open to letting me experiment and try different things, which was so nice. But I mean, really, it was kind of just like to see if I even liked it at that point. It was not really a thing like, oh, like I'm going to start my own business. It was just like, okay, let me, do this on the side, see if this is something like I even want to pursue.
Now that you've been in business on your own now for a while, what do you wish people running their own business would know?
The biggest theme I'm seeing on social media lately, especially as the new year, I know this when this airs, it won't be January and quite the new year, but just seeing all the highlight reels of the
Mhm.
last year, seeing, everyone's accomplishments and everyone's big goals for the upcoming year and quarter and all that. And it just at times seems like being a business owner is all butterflies and rainbows, and everyone has it all together all of the time, and that they have had it figured out from day one is a big fat lie. Um,
Yes.
this time of year especially is so easy, which it's not a bad thing either to be like, I am proud of all the accomplishments and all the things that I've done. You absolutely should be, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think as a consumer, it can come across if you're in the right mindset of like, oh my gosh, this person's has their crap together, like they've accomplished this much. Like I've only been in business for 2 years now, like they've been in business for, three and they've done this much. Like I feel so behind. When like that's not the case. Like
Right.
everyone has their different milestones and their different journeys. So I think that's the biggest thing is you can sit there and play the comparison game, but you don't really know what's going on in someone else's business ever.
Right. No, I totally agree. Especially we're recording this in January and it's an exciting time to kind of harness that energy and use it for good, the excitement of a fresh start sort of feeling. But too much consuming of that definitely can wear on someone. So, speaking of kind of the mindset work, how important is it for you to keep that mindset in check and keep a positive mindset? What do you do for your mindset to make sure that that happens?
One for me to keep that in check is just trying to be, each year as time goes by, I'm kind of recognizing more and more how important it is to be authentic with your audience and how much they appreciate that. And just even with staying positive, like I think I said something on Threads the other day, like, pointing out the fact in the past like 2, 3 months, I've had like a year worth of crazy stuff happen. Like I got engaged, I moved to St. Louis and stopped doing long distance, moved in with my fiance, we bought a house, all these big crazy life things. But it's like at the same time, those are all big crazy things that people might look at and be like, oh my gosh, like she did all of that in 2, 3 months, when it's like, okay, yeah, I did, but there's also so many other areas of my life where things are not together. Like one of the ones I mentioned is that my car had been in the shop during this whole time and borrowing a van from my mom. And then the day after I got that car back, the tires on the van blew out. So it's just one of those things where it's like, social media again is just one of those things where it is very easy to show what is going great in your life. And I don't ever want to give that appearance of my life is perfect and I have everything going right for me all the time. But at the same time, I do like to stay positive. So I do like to focus on those things and not be like, oh my gosh, like I have all this crazy chaos happening in the background. So I think it's really a balance of trying to be authentic and sharing that while also staying positive, because I don't want to focus on the negative things.
You were mentioning earlier with that coffee shop marketing job, how it seemed like the owner and you were very aligned, similar interests, values, and that matched up. How important do you think it is, especially as an entrepreneur, to work with people that you do feel in alignment? I know sometimes people may have had clients that don't share that alignment, and sometimes that can be rough. What's that like for you, and how important is that?
It's very important just because with learning over the years, dealing with certain clients and, in the beginning, not really knowing what I was doing necessarily, because when you start your own business, you can get all the knowledge and try to prepare and learn as much as you can, but you really don't know what you're doing in the beginning.
Right.
I used to not have really a niche at all. I was just kind of like, oh, I will take on anyone and everyone that has a business and is breathing, which got me a lot of people really quickly, but it also got me a lot of unaligned people really quickly that were a little more difficult to work with, didn't really have the same or realistic expectations as me.
How did you navigate that? Did you continue working with them? I think when people find themselves in that boat, they can kind of feel stuck, like there's a need to like keep it going because, we need to make that money or that type of feeling. How did you navigate that?
So when I first started, a lot of it was I was way underselling myself for one. And so a lot of the people I was attracting were people with very, very low budget. So as most service providers know, people with very low budgets have very high expectations usually.
Yes.
Fortunately and unfortunately, I would also get a lot of clients in, but I would also cycle through a lot of clients constantly. And it would be a little bit of a sigh of relief because, like, oh, okay, I don't have to deal with their shenanigans anymore. But almost always their reason would be my services were too expensive. I wasn't giving them the results they were wanting for the amount of money they were paying. And they would, outsource to someone who would do it for pennies. I'm sure probably the same cycle happened with them, as they would still go and be like, okay, well, I'm paying you X amount. I'm wanting X results. That's not happening. Let me see if I can find someone who can do it for cheaper. So it was just very much a run to the bottom. But fast forward to now, I kind of have figured out more, not only my pricing, but also kind of who I enjoy working with more. I've worked with a lot of corporate businesses, which is nothing wrong with that, but I really prefer the personal brands and the personal aspects of things, as I'm really seeing a lot of people are really wanting that social aspect of social media.
Right. Speaking of pricing, how did you work on maybe your money mindset or get okay with raising that price? Because I have been there too. A low price sometimes brings in people that are looking for quick fixes or have unrealistic expectations. And not always, but that price really, really matters. And so how did you find the value in what you were doing and the strength to say, hey, no, this is the new price and this is what I'm offering?
If there was one part of my business I wish I would not have to do was to charge people. If I could do this for absolutely free, I 100% would. But unfortunately, life is very expensive, so can't do that. But learning to value my time and understanding that because I do love what I do and I do genuinely want to help my clients and see them succeed, I can't do that if I am super burnt out. Especially as a former teacher, knowing how quickly your mentality and your energy and your motivation disappear when you are just so burnt out. Your quality of work is just not the best when you're burning from both ends. Knowing that if I am taking on way more clients to meet the amount I need to make financially to keep my business running and everything, I'm just not going to be able to provide as high as quality of work if I am taking on more projects as opposed to spending the necessary time and not overdoing it.
So did you kind of backwards plan? Did you start with like a dollar amount that you needed to sort of live comfortably and have everything working, and then figure out how many clients you would need to reach that?
Essentially, I did something like that just to kind of gauge how much each package would take me hourly a month to kind of get everything done for that client. And then, depending on how many hours I want to work, that sort of thing, kind of figuring out from there.
Yeah, makes sense. So I also really like systems, and as a solopreneur, it can make things more efficient and give you some of your time back.
Yes.
What kind of system do you use in your business that you could share with us?
One that I really have been using a lot lately since discovering is Asana. And I think I'm really in a place right now where I just have, especially so much life going on, where I am just trying to simplify my business and my processes like as much as possible. Because as someone who's, an artist and a perfectionist, like I love to do too much and be extra about things, but also I need to keep my sanity. So with Asana, primarily use that for like my to-do list, my organization, keeping track of all my content, all my clients' content, essentially like my to-do list slash calendar where I keep everything, my whole life on there. And then I'm able to mostly go to one place to be able to figure out what I need to do that day, keep information and notes stored for coming things or links to things for those events. That way I don't have to constantly be scrambling for like today on my thing where I had podcast interview today. I have notes of questions and jotted down information of things that might be useful, touch points, the Zoom link, kind of everything in one place where I can quickly go there without having to dig through my notes app or dig for a piece of paper in my notebook. As soon as I get that information, just compile it in one place.
Nice. So let's touch on your expertise for a bit here. What are some strategies for building a strong, engaged online community that you can offer?
So the biggest thing right now is going out and finding your dream people. A lot of people have been bent up on hacking the algorithm and trying to make their reels go viral, complaining about Instagram's reach. That's always everyone's
Yeah.
biggest complaint is Instagram's reach is just not what it used to be. And that is true. Again, going back to the positivity thing, you can sit there and, moan and complain about, oh, Instagram's not doing the things they should be doing and fixing the things they should be doing, making the algorithm what it should be and what we would hope it would be. That's not going to get you anywhere. So really just going out, especially on Threads, now that Threads is a thing, I think that's maybe how we
I think
actually
so.
probably got connected, because really anyone that I talk to now these days, I like 95% of the time definitely met them on Threads.
Same here. It's very interesting. It's like that algorithm is so dialed into
Yes,
everything that I'm doing
it's
in
so
my
good.
business. And it's shocking because my Instagram and Facebook and anything else is not even
It's not
close.
right.
If you haven't checked out Threads, here's a plug. We're not being paid for this. You should check that
No,
out.
literally Threads is, I tell people all the time, if Threads would integrate stories from Instagram, like have them connected so that they're the same
Oh
story
yeah.
and the same DM, so that I don't like Facebook, I have like a different messenger and a different Instagram. Like if they were combined into one, I went into Instagram and I had the same messages that I had in my Threads, I would straight up leave Instagram. I'd be over it. I wouldn't do it. I do like Instagram, but for my own business, I would probably just stay on Threads, because that's what I find people that I align with, that I enjoy. And I feel like on Threads too, the energy is more so people are actually looking to connect and have conversations rather than just posting their threads and ghosting in hopes that they go viral.
Agreed.
It's
Agreed. Yeah.
The intention is a lot more there. So I think finding those people on Threads and then finding the people that you are really like, hey, like I like their posts, like I like their vibe, like I think we would get along well. And then going over and stalking their Instagram, being like, okay, yes, like they are definitely my people.
Yes.
Let me follow and connect them there and continue to stalk their their stories and posts here. So that's really where I genuinely get the bulk of my new followers and new connections these days, is I meet people on Threads and I take them straight over to Instagram.
Definitely have been doing the same. It's been kind of wild. I've booked my own podcast guests and then also guesting spots for me to speak on other podcasts just through Threads.
Mhm.
It's been pretty crazy. Talk to us a little bit about content in general and things that you think entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people with an online business should be hitting, let's say, in a week or a month's time with their content. I think that's an area that can really hang people up. Sometimes people are like, oh, I hate social media or this or that, the other, like, what do I share? Is there any advice you have for things that we should be hitting on or sharing on social media?
Again, I know when this airs, it won't be the new year, but I see a lot of people currently making these big, grandiose goals for social media of, oh, I'm going to post every single day. I'm going to do this and that and the other. And it's like, okay, that's a great thought, but 1, 2, 3 months from now, you're going to be burnt out, girl. Like you
Yes.
are going to be so over it. And that's even a mindset thing with me where in past years, I have done 3 reels a week plus a post plus a carousel where I'm kind of like in a stage of life where, like I said, I did just get engaged. I did just move. I'm about to move again. And after I move, then I have to plan a wedding. I'm not in a position to be spending that much time on content. So I'm actually about to dial my stuff way back and probably I'm thinking only doing like 2 reels a week and then like one other switch between a static or a carousel post. So really going from like 5 posts a week to 3. I think that's something that a lot of people get caught up on is thinking that they have to post a certain amount of time when really consistency is the most important. And I would definitely say showing up on your stories consistently and even daily if you can is more important than posting. But again, it just is finding what is sustainable for you. At the same time, if you can only realistically find enough time each week to post once, that's fine and you shouldn't beat yourself up over it. I would much rather you post once a week than have this grand idea of, oh, I'm going to post 3 reels a day for the next month. And then, after that month, you're like, okay, I'm over social media. And then you don't post on social media for a month after that. It's just the continuing to show up is really the biggest thing.
So tell us, what do you have going on in your business? What would it look like if someone listening worked with you? What's going on in 2025 for you?
I recently just launched a community builder program. I found with my offer, I was talking a lot about community and getting really passionate about social media being more social, as we're seeing a lot more people wanting that social aspect, especially after kind of Threads came out, and really just enjoying that and a lot of people wishing that that same vibe was over on Instagram. Recognizing that, I built this program that teaches people, how to go out and find their dream people, connect with their dream people, and then also, keep them in a lead gen system, a CRM system, and how to kind of convert those dream people into clients or customers. That is also now included in all of my social media packages, but also can be purchased as a standalone in 3 different tiers. So I have ones that are completely DIY. It has all the tutorials there. Then the other ones are either partially done for/with you and one's done completely. All the information there is completely done for you.
Awesome. I know you have a free personal brand blueprint gift for the listeners. Tell us about that.
That personal brand blueprint is kind of a little mini introduction into the community builder program. Touches a lot on I like to say dream people. I know a lot of people use target audience. I think dream people is more fun, but essentially just narrowing in on who your dream people are, who you are really wanting to go after, and how you can kind of form and build your brand around that. That really gives you a good starting point and good idea. If you are wanting to jump or switch to a personal brand or really focus in on that more this year, that's really a good place to start.
I love it. And where can people connect with you? Where can people follow along?
I am primarily on Instagram and Threads at social.traction.studios.
Awesome. I will link all of that and the personal brand blueprint down in
It's
the
a
show
mouthful.
notes. Yeah. I'll link everything in the show notes. I really enjoyed talking with you. I'm looking forward to see what unfolds for you in this new coming year. So thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning in. If you're ready for podcast mentoring, whether it's setup, editing, planning, or guesting, you can book a one-on-one call with me through the link in the show notes. I hope you feel seen, inspired, and like your dreams and goals are completely valid, because they are. See you next Tuesday.